Hello folks, my name, at least on YouTube, is Neostar. Today I'd like to share with you a little game called Democracy 3. Play about an hour of it. Now you can choose numerous countries here, each with their own policies, advantages, whatnot. You can probably imagine. I'm going to choose Canada today. If this is your first time playing, what I'd recommend is you choose a country that's kind of has opposing views to what you don't normally hold, because then you'll make some pretty interesting decisions throughout the game. It's fairly accurate. Um, then we can change our party name to the Democratic People's Republic of Canada. And our opposition name will be the Juggalo. Nah. Just the Juggalo party will do. So yeah, the term length, term limit, hurricanes, earthquakes, things like this. These are generally just match whatever country you've chosen, but you can adjust them a little bit if you want to. I'm just gonna play with the set rules here. Now, when you first open this game, it's kind of complicated. You just see like a bunch of, well, let me show you. Here we are, a bunch of little bubbles. Now, each of the white bubbles represents a policy, and we can change these. For instance, Canada apparently legalizes prostitution somewhat. Or here's a tax one over here. This is inheritance tax, and so on and so forth. We can see our deficit here, our current expenditure, income, basically everything you'd need to run a country. The important thing is this part here, which has our population. So Canada's fairly socialist, about 50% liberal, about 50% of the families here are middle income, about a quarter poor population. This is all going to be fairly important. The tricky thing is that we have about 50% liberal, 50% conservative, and we have to please both, so that's going to be kind of tough. Canada's not a very easy country. We can click on any of these to get information on what improves these, I guess their quality of living or whatever, and what they don't like. We can also select a focus group and just take a look at some of the people, whether or not they like us, that kind of thing. Right now it seems like nobody likes us. And up here, this is the most important thing, is our political capital. We have 28 right now, and that's like our only resource basically. If we want to adjust a policy, let's look at prisons here. So if we want extensive rehabilitation, it's going to cost us 7 of our political capital to raise that, or we could lower it for 8 of our political capital. Right now I'm just going to leave that where it is. First thing that I want to look at is our charts and graphs here. Look at our expenditure, because there's usually something that you put a lot of money into that nobody likes. In this case, it's not state health service. Everybody seems to like that. State pensions only has 41% popularity with voters, and we're paying almost $12 billion into that, so we could probably lower that a bit. It's going to cost us 26 points, which is most of what we have. So first let's take a look at some of our others. Everybody likes schools, everybody likes housing. Nobody likes military spending. Well, not too many people anyways. But we're only spending $7 billion on that. So I think we're going to start by lowering state pensions. This has the highest benefit for the retired or the poor. So let's take a look at the retired first. Let's just look at the simple one. The retired right now, they're really satisfied, but the thing is we don't have a lot of retired people in our country, so that doesn't really mean much to us. You don't really want to follow, like, it kind of seems like a sandbox game when you first start it, where you can kind of do what you want, but really, really want to cater to your public. So we can afford to make the retired people a little bit less happy just because we don't have a lot of them. And then that's going to bring down our deficit a little bit. So let's spend less money on that. This is going to increase poverty a little bit, but we shouldn't have too much of that. Tired people will be pissed, capitalists will be happier. That's one of the groups that we need to definitely please a bit more. On the side here, you can see how many turns it will take before these effects actually fully take place. I'm actually going to lower this all the way because that's going to basically take away our deficit if we do. You can also cancel the policy, but I don't have enough to do that with this one, and I'm not entirely sure that it'd be a great idea. That's basically what we can do with this turn. We've only got 2 points left, so we're going to go to next. Click to return government. Now this is our quarterly report, so we have a policy. There are demands from the police for the power to stop and search people on the street if they believe that individual may be guilty of a crime. Currently, our police cannot search someone without formally arresting them, so we can choose to introduce powers or leave unchanged. Now let's see who this will affect. Okay, doesn't really say too much. But I'm guessing that this is just kind of liberal conservative stuff, and I know that the conservatives are more pissed off right now. Plus, this will help get crime down, so I'm actually going to introduce the stop and search program since our crime is really, really high. That's the next thing that we're going to deal with, actually, because I didn't notice it was that high. That's ridiculous. So we already have a few policing systems in place. We have problems with organized crime right now. We have problems with vigilante mobs, ghettos, alcohol abuse, and antisocial behavior. I think the solution to a lot of those... Ooh, look, we're on a surplus now instead of a deficit. It's not much, just a few million. Most of the stuff in this game deals with billions. So, but we can't afford to put a bit more money into our police force, which will greatly reduce antisocial behavior, violent crime, and it's going to really please the conservatives. Should point out that, or make some kind of disclaimer that these aren't necessarily my political views. Like I stated before, I'm just kind of catering to what's on here, and right now I really need to please the conservatives, while hopefully not pissing off the liberals or the socialists too much. I believe prostitution will also reduce organized crime, and the religious, though, and it really pisses off conservatives. So let's not change that yet. We have that's what, 40% religious population? And we can sort of reduce membership by that by doing things like only teaching evolution in our schools will greatly reduce the religious membership. However, it's a lot harder to reduce membership in a group than it is to, than it is to just please them. So I'll let the religious people live here for now. Let's see what else we can do. It's tricky, especially early on when there's so much to manage and when we're so unpopular. I guess the changes we made last turn weren't great because our peak value was 7.47 and we're currently at 2.65 in the popularity vote. Canada is tough, man. How about prisons? Well, prisons right now are pleasing liberals, but that doesn't do anything to lower crime. Let's face it. Extensive rehabilitation will lower crime, raise the number of state employees. It'll cost us extra money. Lowers unemployment. Yeah, I think that's worth the extra money. It's not too much extra, a couple billion. And voters really like it. What else can we do for crime? If drugs are legal, then there's no reason for there to be crime. Right now, Canada has legalized cannabis, but unfortunately I don't have enough points to raise this. Let me show you how you get points here, first of all. This is our cabinet, and depending on how much each of them like us, we get a different number of, what was that called again? political capital from them. This guy's giving us 4, she's giving us 3.3, 4.8, and so on. And if somebody doesn't like us, they can either get fired or leave. They also have sympathies with certain groups, which means that their loyalty to you will rise or drop depending on what you do with these groups. So typically you want to like kind of pick a few groups from here that you think that you can best treat, and then try and rig your cabinet so that it's just full of people who are into that stuff. Now, can we legalize prostitution more this turn? That's not especially popular with voters because of the number of conservatives, but I don't have enough to cancel that policy yet. What about, do we have gambling in Canada? We do. And currently it's a no stakes limit. That raises organized crime quite a bit, however. So we're going to lower that, which is going to piss off the Liberals a bit. And yeah, let's just lower it anyways. The religious people will be happy at least. So this is limited stakes with an age limit. And we're going to apply that change, because right now I'm just trying to get rid of this organized crime syndicate, because that will lower both crime and violent crime if we manage to pull that off. Let's go to the next turn. No effect on crime that turn. That's too bad. We're still on a surplus of 2 billion here. We can also see there's a human rights society that's apparently pissed off at me. Oh, but these people are non-violent. You only really have to worry when the bottom groups come in, because they can assassinate you, which is kind of cool, actually. Where are we here? We could raise our use of CCTV cameras to greatly reduce violent crime, greatly please the conservatives, and piss off the liberals. We'll worry about the liberals later. Right now I'm just trying to please the conservatives. And mostly get rid of crime. More get rid of crime than please the conservatives. Liberals are easy enough to piss off. You just legalize everything. See what I mean? But I don't have enough to do that right now, so. We can also introduce new policies if we think that will help. So let's go to law and order here. Community policing, not especially popular with voters, but it may help. Gated communities would help a lot, actually. Prisoner tagging, private prisons. Yeah, let's introduce gated communities. This is going to cost us 13 of our 24 political capital. Takes 12 quarters to implement. That's quite a while. Really pleases the conservatives and the wealthy, which means we'll be able to tax the wealthy more. What do we have for wealthy? Well, they need pleasing anyways, since they're already taxed pretty hard. And then once we please them, we can tax them even harder, and then focus on the middle income, lowering the taxes for the middle income, because they're much more important. It's like 50% middle income versus 25% wealthy in our population. Oh, and I didn't do the policy here, so let's bring that up. Debt collection agencies have been in the news because of the aggressive methods they are using to extract payment from people who owe large sums of money. These debt collection agencies provide credit to people whom larger, more respectable companies will not lend money. A law is proposed to limit the ways in which such agencies can operate. So I'm guessing that this will probably help the poor. Yeah, do the poor need pleasing? Somewhat. Couldn't hurt. What are the other effects of this one? Hard to say. I'm guessing like something like trade unionists might be pissed off that we passed this. Or maybe the wealthy. But I'm going to limit their ability to operate just because not entirely clear what's going to happen. Okay, let's go to the next turn. You can see there's some funny little stuff hidden in this game. When it loads, you can see at the bottom there it says making impossible promises, inventing the internet, appointing friends to top jobs. I actually do that last one quite a bit. Our crime's gone down a little bit. That should just continue happening gradually, turn to turn, as our policies get put into place. And though our polls do not look good, we're actually at 10% for our popularity. So we're improving. We're improving. Let's take a look. We're still at a surplus of 1.37 billion. Yes. Here's another funny quote. A nation is just a society for hating foreigners. Olaf Stapledon. They draw quotes from everywhere, and some of them are so good. Like I've seen them from like everything from politicians to like Star Wars. So the conservatives are on the up. The liberals not so much. And how do we decrease crime while pleasing the liberals? Well, we give the liberals a bunch of drugs, frankly. This pisses off parents and conservatives. We haven't really looked at parents yet. So let's just cancel this for now. Revert changes. Parents are okay. They get child benefits and maternity leave. We can just raise that if we need to please them later. They're about 40%, so I'm not going to be too concerned with their votes just yet because the liberals seem much more prominent in this society. So legalize all drugs. And that'll reduce organized crime greatly. So this is on its downfall. Once it gets below the green, that's the stop trigger for it. And these are what is currently lowering it here. So let's go to the next turn. Click. Antisocial behavior is now at an end. Crime is down greatly. Our GDP needs some work. And now they want us to put speed limits on major roads. Ooh. We can either raise speed limits or no change. I'm guessing raising speed limits will really please motorists. So let's look at motorists right now. Our country's about 60% motorists versus 40% commuter. And the motorists aren't especially happy. So let's take another look at this policy. We're going to raise the speed limits. We already have good healthcare, so I'm not too worried about people getting in too many accidents. And our popularity is greatly increasing too, so it seems we're doing good at this so far. We need to... we can't touch this yet, really. Even though it would please the liberals, it pisses off the conservatives way too much. We can cancel this policy, the legalized prostitution policy, which might be wise considering it gives very little to the liberals. But right now, let's take another look at what we can do. Here we are. Abortion laws are on demand, which the religious people really don't like us for that, even though we're only 40% religion. That's fairly somewhat significant. I might be more stringent on these. Yeah. See, if we put it under limited circumstances, this only lowers the liberals slightly. But I've been lowering the liberal side of things a lot lately, and what I'm looking for is to raise that. No, science funding doesn't seem to do it. What about alcohol law? This increases violent crime and alcohol consumption. Our minimum age is 18. There would be an increase in violent crime. Oh no, I guess decrease. Really? There's a decrease in violent crime when you raise the drinking age? I'm kind of surprised by that. Oh, no, wait. No, never mind. That totally makes sense. What am I saying? And it's going to lower alcohol consumption if it changes. Let's see what we make off alcohol tax to see if it's worth lowering alcohol consumption. Currently 1.2 billion per quarter. That's pretty much peanuts. So, let's raise the drinking age somewhat. This is going to affect the youth, but the youth isn't a huge population. Um, hmm. But again, we run the risk of lowering the liberal. Damn, liberals are tough to please. At least in Canada. Some countries it's super easy. Maybe we can just introduce a public service or something instead. This is probably my favorite educational game since the Oregon Trail. Ooh, free school meals. I don't know if that's really a liberal thing, though. Liberal, liberal, liberal. Liberal, liberal. Ooh, welfare fraud department. Surprised I don't have that yet. Foreign policy. Well, we're all out of drug taxes. Public services. Yeah, nothing especially liberal here. Let's see now. Armed police, CCT. Liberals like child benefits, apparently. Parents like child benefits, too. Let's give them some more child benefits. How much money do we have to work with right now? Our surplus is 117 million. You don't have to be too concerned about going into a deficit. Like, it sucks, but as long as you're only within a few billion, even up to 20 billion can be doable. So yeah, let's raise this a few billion, just get the liberals much higher. Capitalists aren't going to like that, but eh. This is going to create a lot more parents, too. And our parents could use some loving. We can't quite lower taxes for the middle income, unfortunately. Is there any other way that we can please the middle income? Not really. We'd have to introduce a new policy. Not entirely sure what middle income likes. What would I like if I were making a middle income? We could even just click through, look at the estimated popularity, and that's usually a pretty good indicator of whether or not a policy is going to be worth it for you. This one, luxury goods tax, has pretty high potential income, so that could offset the cost of some things, and popularity with voters is very high. So that's always good when you can get income from something and people will actually like it. This increases equality too, that's nice. Let's just max that out. You want to be very careful when min-maxing stuff in this game. Things can add up quickly. That's gonna... Well, we have small, wealthy, and capitalist populations, so I think that'll be worth it. Go to the next turn. You do actually, like, you can lose in this game. You can lose elections, or like I said earlier, you can get assassinated. Hell, I never vote for anybody. I always vote against W.C. Fields. I like those. Freedom of Information Act. This is basically going to tell me, basically Facebook shit, collecting information without people's knowledge. So, I don't know if I want to allow that or not. Yeah. This is, it says passing this law will just make it harder for intelligence services to keep a watch on serious criminals and terrorists. Oh, this isn't the Facebook one. This is a different one. This is where they want the government to open their doors and explain everything. I'm actually going to reject this proposal because we have a crime problem. In real life, I'd be like quite the opposite. But I need to get rid of this organized crime. Why isn't that dropping faster? I've done everything I can. I legalized drugs. I've lowered the gambling. Did I lower the gambling yet? Yeah, it's limited stakes. That's good enough. Gambling is a big thing to increase organized crime. Prostitution, on the other hand, reduces it. But I don't have enough love from the conservatives or the religious to do that. I'm actually going to cancel this policy this turn because everybody seems to hate it. Except for it does increase the GDP, which is terrible, but not so terrible that we can't cancel this, I don't think. Let's see the effects of that. Oh, cool. Our country has a superhero. I love it when this happens. This is about the most as unrealistic as the game gets, basically, is when you get superheroes. They don't really do anything except it's just a random decrease in crime and violent crime. Occasionally stuff like that can happen. It's kind of cute. So crime's down thanks to that. And our crime's not in the red anymore. We could maybe start working on our GDP somewhat. Let's have a look at it. GDP. What affects you? All the green lines mean that it's raising it. All the red lines mean that it's lowering it. And that's true for anything. So if we look at like organized crime over here, pop up. There we go. You can see like the green lines do indicate an increase, but not always into good things. In this case, we got a green line coming from gambling, which means it's raising it, whereas the armed police, intelligence service, that kind of thing are lowering it. So yeah, you just have to pay attention to whether or not the green lines are actually good things or bad things. Wiretapping actually doesn't seem to be doing as much as I thought it would. Oh wow, we got like no money invested in this. And it's cheap too. Oh, but damn liberals. God damn it. They don't like that stuff. We could fairly, yeah, because we have a higher liberal population than religious population. It's pretty easily to get the liberals on your side if you don't mind pissing off the religious. This costs too much to raise. But things like abortion laws, no, that's already on demand. Let's take a look at both of these. What's this one? Yeah, school prayers. This is pissing off liberals. Costs wicked too much to cancel. What we can do is just save our political capital this turn. Go on to the next one. Uh-oh, one of our cabinet members doesn't like me. Also, crime is up, health is down, and GDP is down. Wow, what happened this turn? However, no more vigilante mobs. We now have drug addiction and brain drain instead. Awesome. Get rid of one problem, cause two more. Lee Murphy. Let's see what her problem is. Lee Murphy, welfare, only giving us one. Her sympathies are with environmentalists and commuter, which we haven't really touched yet. I kind of need the points this turn, so I'm not going to touch that. We can finally raise this to really please the liberals. And increase liberalism. Well, reducing religious membership by a great amount, which is kind of nice, because they're already fairly low. I'd like them to get lower, because they're tough to please. The game does kind of have a leftist slant. You might be able to tell. Okay, unemployment is up, the GDP is down, and for some reason we're still got 43% of the vote, so whatever works. Curb banking bonuses. Um, Probably a good idea for the middle income. Ooh, the environmentalist went up. Liberals are going up. That's good. That's what we were hoping for. The farmers are pretty high. We can maybe... Oh yeah, the conservatives are in the green, so that's awesome. And with liberals on the rise, maybe we can increase wiretapping a little bit to get this organized crime situation down. Where is wiretapping? They keep mixing up the, like where the bubbles appear, which is kind of annoying. So, sorry liberals. Instead, we'll get rid of religion for you. Another cabinet minister doesn't like me. Unemployment is rising. Our credit rating's downgraded. Ooh, this is bad. Crisis art theft. This is kind of the opposite of a superhero, where our conservatives just suddenly drop for silly reasons like that. Just random events. Okay. Do I have enough to eliminate school prayer? I don't. What we actually need to do is reorganize our cabinet, because we're only getting 15 capital per turn. That's really low. That's terrible, actually. So let's fire anybody who doesn't agree with us. Our foreign affairs minister is only giving us 1. Well, it only costs 1 to fire you. Our welfare minister only costs 1 to fire you. You can see they don't like it when the other cabinet members get fired. I maybe should have just reshuffled entirely, but so let's look at which category? Foreign policy. Let's hire somebody for that. So we want to find somebody whose desired job is under foreign policy, but also somebody whose sympathies are in line with the kinds of things that, you know, we're trying to help. In this case, we've done a lot with the liberals and also the conservatives. So either of these two people would be good. I'm actually going to hire her because it's 4.7. It's just a higher number. For our welfare minister, let's see what options we have. This guy likes welfare, and he's on the conservative side. Environmentalists, easy enough to please. I think they're already pretty high, so he would be a good one. Taxes. Let's see who's interested in taxes. We have this guy, capitalist and ethnic minorities. I have a feeling we're going to be pissing off more than one capitalist by the end of the game, so farmers and liberals. Environmentalists and here's another environmentalist one. So now that a lot of my cabinet ministers have sympathies for the environment, and since I'm kind of low on political capital, why not do something for the environmentalists? Let's take a look at our policies here. Recycling. Cheap, environmentally friendly. What's our deficit right now? Oh, wow. Wow, we didn't look at that, did we? So we have to impose some taxes now. The problem is nobody likes taxes, so it's hard to figure out one that's really good. Plastic bag tax is perfect because it pleases the environmentalists. Unfortunately, it's awfully low income from it too, so we're gonna have to... I really don't want to piss off the middle income. That's really annoying to do. Let's raise corporation taxes, maybe. Do we have more capitalists or socialists? Quite a few more socialists. So let's raise these taxes. It's currently at around 7 billion. Ooh, that's gonna hurt the GDP too. This is gonna be a drastic increase, but I kind of need it. Oh, I can't even. I need 19, so let's wait a turn. How did I not notice that? Ban animal testing. Uh, yeah, I don't want to hit the industries too badly. Actually, yeah, I do. Pleases the liberals, and I'm gonna piss the capitalists off next turn anyways. So, where's that corporate tax? Here it is. It moved itself over here now. Love it when the game does that. Okay. This is definitely not something that we want to min-max on too much. Oh no, we have a problem with an uncompetitive economy apparently now too, which is bad. When did that pop up? Was that always there? Oh well. Environmentalists are down? How did that happen? Socialism down. Youth down. Conservatives happy. And why was that so cheap to raise that time? Or maybe I'm just collecting more than I think I am. We're up to 18 capital per turn. Not great, not great. But like I said, Canada's a tough nation. Tough nation to govern. We're about halfway through our term here, so we still have time to get our popularity up before the elections. There is a way that you can see... No, that's achievements. I think it's this one, yeah, parties. Let's see how the Juggalo Party's doing. Their activists have dropped greatly, which is good, because activists are people that, like, really, really vote. However, they have a lot more members, whereas, for me, very few members. And, no boost to voter turnout, no activists, nothing like that. Man. Them Juggalos is fam, yo. Okay. We still have a massive deficit. Let's raise petrol tax. That's going to lower the GDP again. It's going to piss off motorists too. Plus, we just don't have enough capital to raise that. Well, I'm running Canada into the ground today. It's a tough game. We could look at new taxes, but not a lot of them are going to ensure a lot of profits. Recreational drugs tax. Do we have a drug problem yet? Oh, we do. We could raise the, what are state health services at? Some prevention. That's costing us 11 billion. What happens if we... Nope. Nope. I don't even have enough to do that. Oh, we're only at 10? Is that because... No, we get 18 per turn. What did I spend that on? I don't even remember. Well, looks like we're going to have to raise income taxes, which is the worst thing. Nobody likes it when you raise income tax. But it's so profitable. 41%. That's already really, really high. Let's take a look at some of our expenditure. Debt interest is the biggest thing. No wonder. Once you get a lot of debt interest, when Canada actually starts with a lot of debt interest, it's really, really hard to make that go down. It just goes up every turn until you get a surplus and start paying it off. State health service. This is costing us a lot, but it's quite beneficial. State schools are costing us a lot. Housing. Man, all this stuff is like pretty good stuff for keeping away poverty and unemployment and such. Do we have an unemployment problem? Not really, eh? We do have a homelessness problem. But not an unemployment problem. But yeah, homelessness is pretty bad. What's causing that? Here's the poverty here. Poverty being caused by... No, that's raising alcohol abuse, actually. What if tobacco tax is raising poverty, so is the alcohol tax. Kind of tough to remove those, though. Lowers... We have pretty good health, so we can actually cancel some of these taxes, maybe. And it might improve. Do we have... No, we don't even have good health. But we ended organized crime. That's good. I think that was probably the wrong thing to go after at the beginning. We're at 50% of the votes at the polls, so that's good. The opposition party has more members than us. Gonna be a tough vote. And our budget rating is CCC. That's bad. Royal scandal. Prominent member of the royal family has unfortunately made a comment that could be considered racist if taken out of context. The comment was overheard by press photographers and is causing scandals. How will your government react? Well, I'm guessing that this is going to be... We're going to have to take a look at our population before we make a judgment on that. It's going to affect ethnic minorities, which we have very few of. That's kind of... Wait. If I know Canada, we have more ethnic minorities than this, but whatever. We have quite a few more patriots. So we're going to actually stand by the monarch with their racist comments. Because that's just the way you play democracy. I love this game. Hey, our deficit went down somewhat. It's only 28 billion now. That's kind of ridiculous, but where's that cigarette tax that we were going to cancel? Yeah. That's only a minor effect on poverty, though. Let's take a second look at poverty. Where... Damn it, why does it rearrange the bubbles? I figure there's probably a good reason for it. There it is. Okay. Causes. How the hell do we get that much poverty from? Anyways, we need to decrease the homelessness problem. Unemployment. State schools. Yeah, it seems we can get rid of poverty just by giving more money to schools. That'll probably please parents, too. So, do we want university grants, or... I think there's some good education programs in here. School vouchers? No. Youth club subsidies? Reduces crime. Free school meals? Was that it? I thought there was a direct, like, school one. Yeah, there must be. Like state schooling or something like that it was called. Yeah, state schools, here we go. These will greatly reduce poverty. Wow, they're expensive as fuck, though. It might pay off in the long run, but we don't really have the long run anymore. Yeah, we're kind of getting outside the long run right now. So, I forget why I wanted to reduce poverty. Oh yeah, to reduce unemployment. Hell, maybe we should just create more jobs. Give more money to science. That should do the trick. That'll raise GDP, increase state employees, reduce unemployment. Actually, I should have done this a long time ago. It's only a little more expensive, but it'll pay for itself in the long run. Public libraries. Education. It doesn't really reduce anything. Homelessness. What else is causing homelessness? State housing is reducing it. Can we put more money into state housing? Well, we certainly can't afford to, but might just be able to do it anyways. The deficit's just a number. Okay. We're going to raise that. It's going to make us more popular, and then we're going to raise taxes once we're popular. Maybe do something to please the middle income. Oh, homelessness is just pissing them off, which is why we have to get rid of that. Okay. Uh-oh. So the Crusaders of the Lord are pissed at me. I think I have good enough security that it won't matter, though. Hey, we got rid of ghettos. That was kind of inadvertent, but whatever. And we're at 61% of the vote in an election. Yay! Somehow the opposition party still has more members than us. To retain respect for sausages and laws, one must not watch them in the making. Otto von Bismarck. I like that. Because I like sausage. Ah, our oil supply went down. That's going to piss off motorists. And... okay, so... Patriots are down, that's fine. Conservatives are up, that's really good. Liberals are about the same. But it's the middle income that we especially need to worry about right now. Homelessness. Come on, we increase state housing. It's starting to drop. What's causing it? Unemployment and poverty. So, unemployment. Alright, so we need to look for green arrows going to unemployment. There's like nothing. Everything is lowering unemployment. Come on now. Oh, the GDP is what is increasing unemployment. Let's take a look at the GDP. Science funding increases it. Petrol tax keeps it the same. Lots of stuff is decreasing it. Things like traffic congestion. The rail strike is decreasing it. What is causing a rail strike? Subsidies? Why do we even need a rail system? Commuters, rail usage. It's kind of decreasing unemployment, though. Alright, well, let's give more money to the railroads, because that'll decrease unemployment, too. Increase rail usage, which means a lot more commuters. Higher commuter income and membership. Let's just increase that to 4 billion. What's our deficit at now? 29. Ooh, well, once everything stabilizes a little bit, it should start going down, I would think. Let's actually, we have a lot of motorists, so let's actually create some roads too. Oh no, wait, we need the GDP. Brain drain is lowering the GDP. So is the uncompetitive economy. Brain drain is caused by taxing the rich too much. But we can't exactly lower taxes. GDP. My worst enemy in this game, frankly. Technology grants. They are high right now. Let's make them higher. This will decrease unemployment. Get rid of the religious folk. Yeah. That's another way that you can actually just get a population to go down. Is just find ways to decrease their membership, really. Like, or not get a population to go down, but to stop, like, terrorist plots. Like right now, there's a terrorist plot against me from the Crusaders of the Lord, which is largely a religious organization. But if we just remove membership from that religious organization, then we're in a better position to not get assassinated. Politics is terrible. Rural development grants. That increases the GDP. Hold on, like what has a significant increase on the GDP? Anything? Anything at all? No? Oh crap, banning animal testing decreased it. Maybe should have thought that one through. Not like animals can vote. International trade. That sounds like a good one. Where's international trade? Here. International trade. It's being affected by... It's actually being lowered by foreign relations. Apparently other countries don't like us. Let's take a look at this. There's nothing that we can change that directly affects international trade. We don't have a lot of patriots, right? We have a fair amount, actually. How much can I... I can maybe increase this by about $1 billion to really improve foreign relations. Plus, socialists and liberals will be happy, and that's always good. Because, I don't know, like, people will fall into a spectrum. So even if somebody is a patriot, they may also have a certain percentage of socialist and liberal. Like, see, this guy is fairly liberal. He's much more liberal than he is patriot, so he'll probably be okay with this decision. This guy is actually conservative, still much more so than patriot, whatever. It'll be fine, right? There's literally like 9 billion people that it calculates to, or whatever your population is. It'll remind you every turn that somebody wants to kill you. Our GDP still hasn't gone up. Our cabinet minister doesn't like us. But we may win an election if we make it that far. Okay. Our deficit is getting huge. That's kind of ridiculous. Wow, 2 people really don't like us, it seems. This guy's especially unloyal. It's because he's religious. I don't think there's any room for that in my cabinet. What was he again? Oh, transport. Okay, so find somebody who's into transport. Here we are, a transport socialist. Just the kind of person I'd like on my cabinet. It's so bad. You're supposed to like please them, but nah. Okay, so we're gonna have to. Ooh, I can't. I wish I could raise income tax, but the middle income folk. Oh yeah, I still need to get rid of this. How's it been going, anyways? Declining. We might get there in a few years. State housing is really helping. It hasn't quite reached its full potential. Maybe we can introduce some new policies. Subsidies. I'm just gonna go. Ooh, people really want this, so this is going to greatly reduce poverty. Good. And it's cheap. So, let's apply that. We missed an issue. Oh, GM Foods. This one is beneficial to farmers and capitalists, not as good for the environment and liberals. So let's take a look at that. Capitalists are really low. Farmers are fairly low. We have quite a few liberals. Um, yeah, I guess we'll just ban them. Yeah, ban them. I know. Poverty's down. Yay. Our cabinet minister hates us, but we got a 71% approval rating. Opposition still has more members than us. People never lie so much as after a hunt, during a war, or before. Oh, I get it. Phrasing on that one was a bit strange. Wow, deficit. Um, Good lord, that's a lot of deficit. And I still haven't gotten rid of homelessness. Oh, but it's greatly decreasing now, so that's good. That's good. It should be gone in a few more turns. Must be the... Was that because of the... Yeah, because I reduced poverty greatly. Let's see if we can do that again. Just, welfare fraud. I don't think that's gonna be good to get rid of homelessness, actually. Rent controls and food stamps might be, however. Which... Yeah, let's try rent controls. That should reduce homelessness, right? Well, it reduce poverty, which in turn reduce... Ooh. Yeah, see, that's not a good trade-off for the amount that it pisses off the capitalists, but if we keep it around the middle, should be fine. And food stamps. Where was food stamps? There we go. Implement that. More poverty reduction. Wow, everybody likes food stamps, apparently. That's awesome. Even though it's going to cost us some money. Once the homelessness problem is solved, we can raise taxes. Reduce fat content and nutritional value of food sold to children. That's going to affect the free market and piss off parents. We're already pissed off, so let's actually regulate that. Wow, the parents' number is actually rising too. So I might have to do, well, one thing at a time. We'll solve the homeless problem and then deal with the drug addiction problem so the parents aren't angry. I maybe even have enough left over to introduce, yeah, youth club subsidies. Will that help parents? Or I think there's ones that are more like to do with parenting than the youth, because I think that just helps youth. You'd think they... here we go. Child care provision. Oh no, that's not very popular. Well, maybe it will. Oh yeah, it does. Good. Oh, and reduces crime. And it's cheap. Only 260 million cheap. I know. Scientific discovery. Yes, GDP's going up. Our credit rating was downgraded. Opposition party. Well, our hour is up. Um, Only 5 turns away from an election, too. I might just show you the election. You're getting a lot more supporters here. I'm going to save this so I can continue it later. Save game. And just quickly, I'm going to show you. I'm just going to skip a few turns so I can show you what the election actually looks like. Assuming I don't get assassinated in the meantime. Bailouts? Yeah. I've never heard anything good about bailouts on the news, so. Oh, I have to. Apparently, one of my guys didn't like me, so. Find a new law and order minister. Wow, nobody wants to work in law and order. You can just hire anybody, but that's really weird that nobody wants anything to do with law. So instead, let's just pick whoever's the most loyal. That guy's pretty loyal and has a lot of experience. Religious. Liberal in parents. I'll hire her. You'll do. Next. Next. I'd be surprised if I won this election. Apparently our homeless problem didn't sort itself out in these 5 turns. Here we are. So this is what it looks like when you have an election. We have a higher activist turnout, so let's see if we beat the Juggalos. Ta-da! It's fairly, it's easy enough to win elections. Shows you breakdowns, changes. Some people just don't vote. Let's see how we did. Well, the health in Canada went down. The crime went down by quite a bit. A lot of stuff stayed the same. And you can just go begin next term to continue the game. Some countries have limited amounts of terms and you eventually have to retire. Canada does not. You can basically play it forever. And I'll show you now too, if you go to the political compass, you can see we sat about here when we played as Canada. Earlier I played 2 terms with France and I was fairly liberal socialist. About the same with Australia. I wanted to continue that game really badly, but unfortunately it kept crashing on me. But this is kind of neat. It shows your last 50 games, so eventually this just fills with dots. I haven't quite found a country yet that's especially conservative, but one of the nice things about it is that you can get mods for this game. I have 2 installed. One of them is Sweden, which I like to call easy mode. Like if you want like the easiest country to play in the world, just download that one. The other one is, I haven't tried this yet, but it seemed really, really interesting. And actually, I don't think that's it. It was, or was it? Yeah, that is it. It's just not labeled the way that it is on the Steam Workshop. But basically, Greece is actually circa 2011, when I guess there was huge problems and lots of protests and all that kind of thing. And you get to try and fix it. So I imagine that's a fun one. I also imagine that there's a high risk of assassination, but like I said, I can't try it. But there are some interesting mods and more coming out. I would stay on that. It's still a fairly new game, so I'm pretty excited to see like I'm sure somebody's gonna make like North Korea and stuff. You can always already get some crazy situations and policies, And it's pretty likely too that eventually somebody's just going to completely remake the game as like a space sim. So that's Democracy 3. Fantastic little political simulator. My favorite educational game. I highly recommend you check it out if you're interested in that sort of thing. Hope you enjoyed. And again, the political views represented in this video do not necessarily represent the political views of myself or this channel. Just a little disclaimer. Have a good one. See you later.